Hello there. As you can see, we have a new tropical depression in the Atlantic. It was initiated about 30 minutes ago. 35 mile per hour, 109 millibar, 5 mile per hour winds, 109 millibars. And yeah, so let's just dive right into it. So you can see right here, we have these two systems, Doug, and that, 7 dissipated. TD set, okay, so don't get TD7E confused with TD7L, which is TD7E is the Atlantic, is the East Pacific system. TD7L is the Atlantic system. So TD7E, EPAC, Eastern Pacific, TD7L, Atlantic. Okay, so yeah, we have Douglas, this little X right here, and we have TD7, but TD7 is the one I'm going to be talking about in this video. So yeah, TD7 has gradually increased in satellite presentation. Got a pretty nice hot tower over the center a few hours ago. Kind of expanded into this fairly nice core right around here. Some nice banding. And we kind of had to wait a little bit for till we start getting satellite estimates from TAFB and SATCON and all that. Yeah, you can see right now we have some good banding features. We have a nice little central dense overcast. You can see most of the dry air is still displaced northward, and it really has a nice pocket of moisture that it's strengthening in as it slowly moves north. I believe it's west northwest. Yes, west northwest at about 8 miles per hour across the MDR. So, according to the discussion, satellite imagery and scudometer data indicate that a low pressure area basically formed into a tropical depression. Satellite analysis, so intensity estimates from satellites, they range from around 30 knots or so. It's moving at 307. The depression south of the very strong subtropical ridge. So there's a big ridge over the North Atlantic, and it's on the edge of that. Over the next several days, it's going to turn generally to the west and accelerate as it encounters the flow as it gets more caught up in the big ridge. So there's a big ridge somewhere over here, basically right now. It's a little like that. And so this is high pressure. It's kind of the lower pressures. So yeah, it's pushing along this depression. Eventually, as it gets more influenced by the ridge, it's going to begin to move faster. So the intensity forecast is kind of low confidence. So is a lot lower confidence than the track forecast. So the intensity forecast, it's going to become a tropical storm in probably by tonight. It's going to slowly strengthen. It'll be 60 knots by about 48 hours from now. About 36 hours, it'll be 50 miles per hour. So it's going to steadily strengthen by about 5 knots every 12 hours until it peaks out at about 65 miles per hour in the winds, not its movement speed, which is how fast it goes forward. How fast the winds are blowing in the system. So, yeah, you can see it slowly, and then it slowly starts to move a little bit more northward and a little bit faster. So, that's generally low confidence, but why? Well, most of the global models, the GFS, the ECMWF, and the UCOMET, so the American, European, and the English model, they all forecast the cyclone to be dissipated or a weak low by 120. They have increased vertical shear and dry air. However, some of the ships-based guidance, so it gives you the conditions for the hurricane or the ingredients. So it might say here you might get low wind shear and high relative humidity and high sea surface temperatures. Well, here you might get low SSDs and low relative humidity. I'll show you what ships is in my next Outlook. Basically, it just gives you the conditions, but I'll give you the ship's forecast when that comes out for the system in my next Outlook, because it's not out yet for the latest, which it'll be out in about 3 hours. So the GFS and the UCOMET and the ECMWFAL forecasted to be dissipated at a week low by 120 hours. The NHC intensity forecast is a compromise between two extremes because, well, like I said, the ships, which is a statistical model, which is something else entirely. Basically, it just is based off the raw conditions, and the HWRF, so a dynamic model, which is, yeah, so that's something else that will be talked about another time. Forecasted to be a hurricane by 120 hours. So yeah, you can see. So anyways, you can see generally the intensity is forecast to be a consensus of the two, all the global models, which are basically models that simulate the entire globe, and the statistical / hurricane model, the HWRF and the ships. A hurricane model simulates just a hurricane or the area around a hurricane, and the statistical model simulates basically the conditions it will have. So they show a peak of 55 knots, which translates to 65 miles per hour, or just short of a hurricane by about 10 miles per hour. It's followed by some weakening based on the global models. The cyclone is kind of small in size, and of course that could result because of course smaller cyclones or hurricanes are more susceptible to short-term intensity changes, and because of course it's easier to change the small amount of energy the cyclone has. So basically this could be, I think a great example of this is like Beryl of 2018. So let's just get that open. You can see Hurricane Beryl was very small. You can see how small it was. It was basically a tornado, some people called it. But yeah, so it was very small, and it strengthened fairly rapidly. You can see it strengthened fast, but it also weakened very fast before it kind of reformed subtropically up here. But that's beside the point. So the point is, these very small systems can strengthen as fast as they weaken. So you definitely want to watch out when one of those coming towards you, or you want to pay attention to it. And generally, I feel the interests basically along maybe the South American coast all the way up into the Lesser Antilles should probably be monitoring the progress of this system, kind of how it progresses, paying attention to nhc.noaa.gov for more information. So you can see again our water vapor sat with dry air up to its north. Actually, you can see the majority of the dry air is focused up here, right to the north of the system, northwest of the system. You can also see we have a big kind of CDO-like feature, which is a central dense overcast, kind of the dense, the circular, the area of clouds around a hurricane center. So in Hurricane Dory, CDO is kind of so this is like, give me a moment. So this is the eye of the hurricane right here. This is your banding, and this is generally your CDO. central dense overcast, which is the area of, the highest winds. The area that surrounds the area of clouds that surrounds the eye wall, of deep convection that surrounds the eye wall, which is these cold cloud tops. That's what deep convection is, simply put. So yeah, looking at the intensity models, you can see the estimates range wildly from just a weak tropical depression or low-end tropical storm all the way to a high-end hurricane. So yeah, you can see this is going to be a very hit or miss storm, and I think the NHC has chosen somewhere right in the middle of it all. So we shall see. We shall see how things progress over time. These are the ECMWF ensembles, the little spaghetti models. Some like to call them each like a little weather model. I'm gonna go forward in time by about 12. I think it's 12 hours each timestamp. I'm not completely sure, but it's about that fast. And you can see you finally have these by about 96, hour 96. You have these little lows approaching the south end of the Windward Islands. And, again, it's kind of hard to say that I'll hit the lesser Antilles. That's very unlikely, but I don't think it can be ruled out. But again, I wouldn't expect it. It's probably going to stay within the Windward Islands like most July long track hurricanes do. Unless they want to take a little northerly path. Like generally, this area does not get hit during July. So, yeah, we're going to go forward in time a little. You can see as they enter the Caribbean, things start to become a little more uncertain. A few of the members have it moving more north. A few of them have it on the north side. A few of them have it basically just going straight, staying on its little straight path. And so we're going to go forward a little more. Yeah, you can see it starts to spread even more. And we have so at this point, you have some of them going up into Hispaniola, some going to southern, some of them just staying on a straight path, some of them dissipating it right after it hits. So at this point, it's kind of uncertain how things will develop, but as we get closer in time, I think it should become a little more clear, as always. Sometimes not, but most of the time it becomes a lot clearer the further in time we get. So again, at this point, there's no imminent threat to any land, and no imminent threat of a big hurricane to any land. But again, I feel like the progress of the system should be monitored. And just a little tidbit, you have a few members showing a little something behind the system from another African easterly wave, still inside July, about a week after TD7 forms. So, yeah, definitely a little bit of something that could be down the line. But generally, I don't think we should look past hour 168 because this storm is small and I don't think we really know much at this point. So, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the Outlook later tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye.